Cool.
Amazing, you got it right on the same time.
Yeah.
Hey. So we go 1, 2, 3, or
1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right, you guys. We're back again with another episode of the Bull City Pioneers. I'm Luis.
Hector.
And today we have
Ian Johnson.
Do you want to tell the people who you are, what you do, and
Well, let's see. I was born and raised here in Durham, North Carolina. Technically, we're doing this almost in Chapel Hill. Almost. I don't even know which region we're in right now.
Okay.
All right. So I've worked in aquatics for 6 years now.
Wow.
It's over 6 years.
That's a long time, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty old. So after working in aquatics for about 2 or 3 years, I decided to take all the experience that I had, especially all the humor that I had gathered from lifeguarding, decided to turn it into a comic strip. So it wasn't anything new. I had been drawing comic strips since I was a kid. Earliest ones are like I was 5 years old, taking Post-it notes and putting them on the table and drawing little characters, and each frame had each one, it would transform into like a story.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
A little bit ago.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my whole life. If I was given nothing to do, I would always take a sheet of paper, a pencil or pen, and just start drawing something.
Cool. We actually are connected with Ian because I actually work with Ian. So if you guys didn't know, I think I've mentioned it in the podcast before that I also lifeguard. So that's kind of how like me and Ian know each other. But when I found out that he made comics and we started the podcast, I said, hey, why not? We need to show love to people of Durham who are passionate about what they do.
Of course.
And I know that you're really passionate about that. Like you said, you've been doing it for a long time. And it's really good.
Okay. It takes a while before it pays.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Can relate.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. You said that it started from humor gathered from working in aquatics, correct?
Right.
So, do you make a lot of cartoons regarding like pool jokes or like what types of?
Well, a lot of the earlier strips were to develop the characters, and they're all composite characters. They are actually based off of real people, but like you'll have one character that is like 2 or 3 people mixed in together. So a lot of it towards the beginning, it's sprinkled throughout. Some of it is pool humor, and then some of it is just general humor that everyone can relate to.
Okay.
I tend to think of my cartoon as I would think of it drawn in the style of Calvin and Hobbes, but it's kind of like Dilbert to some extent, because Dilbert is like workplace humor.
Of course.
And even though it's not quite as complex, because Dilbert is about engineers. So some of those jokes are extremely funny. Everybody can relate to them, but some of them go over people's heads. That might be the case a little bit for Suits and Garters, but for the most part, it's workplace humor is the way.
And that's the name of it, right?
Suits and Garters.
We didn't mention it earlier.
And I know it sounds a little crazy at first. You're like, Suits and Garters, what does that mean? It's not garters, it's garters, because
lifeguard.
right, when you come to the pool, you're either wearing a swimsuit and you're there to swim, or you are a lifeguard. So has a catchy
I don't think
name
I've ever
to it.
asked you about that, but
It just has
that
a
makes sense.
catchy tune to it. I was gonna go with the guard room, but there was yeah, I liked it too. Unfortunately, someone had the domain name already printed.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yep.
so you have a website for you?
Yes, I do,
Okay.
and it's spelled just the same, Suits and Garters,
Do you want to spell that
all
out?
together. So it's SUITSANDGUARDERS.com.
Okay, awesome.
We'll find out afterwards whether I spelled that correctly or not.
Yeah.
It's been up since 5 o'clock, so.
Yeah.
No,
true.
man. It's all good.
Quick question: how many? Make an estimate. How many cartoons do you think you've uploaded on that website?
On the website currently, it's probably 100 or a little bit better.
100 or a little bit better. Awesome. That's a lot.
It is.
You've been at it for publicizing your cartoon. Like, how long have you been at it?
Since 18 years old. I started August of 2014.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
the currently what I have is it's probably around 320 completed.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is a lot.
So the actual website I post blogs to. There's a weekly blog which I do for subscribers, and I occasionally take those blogs and upload them to the website every once in a while. And then the actual page, the web page where I'm posting the comics like twice a week is on Tapastic.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And so that's tapastic.com, and if you just go to the search engine inside the web browser, you just type in the cartoon, it'll pop right up.
Oh, okay. And do you mind us talking a little bit about that platform? Because I've never heard that. I've never heard about that platform.
Oh,
Is it
Tapastic?
Yeah, is it just for cartoonists or just like for other art forms?
A variety of different art forms. You have people on there that do manga. I'm trying to think of some of the other. There are lots of different genres. Some people do like a sci-fi kind of genre.
Oh, okay.
One of the great things is you go on there and you realize there's a large variety. Some of it people are interested in, some of it people are not. Each cartoon is unique. One of the great things, I originally started on the Go Comics Sherpa platform, and that was for amateur cartoonists. You didn't have to pay anything to have your comics up there, but you were not syndicated. So syndicated cartoonist is where they actually pay you to make cartoons because they can actually make money off of selling your comic strips. So they get some of the proceeds, but you also as well. But they did away with the site on Go Comics, which I was a little bummed out about because it was actually a really good platform.
Yeah.
But they updated the site. They took it down because they were updating Go Comics. Go Comics, technically their name is Universal Uclick, and they actually own, I believe they own Andrews McMeel Publishing. So Go Comics, Andrews McMeel Publishing, they're both the same.
Oh, okay.
So whenever you see like a book with Andrews McMeel Publishing, if it's a comic strip and it's syndicated, it's usually on Go Comics. But I started on the amateur Sherpa site, which was just for cartoonists that were not syndicated. They just
wanted
did
to get their stuff out.
Right, they just wanted to get their stuff out there. Once they took that site down, that's when I moved to Tapastic. So it's
gotta be like that though.
yeah, it's a great platform. It's really easy to upload the comics in there. I have nothing but great things to say about it. So,
On average, how much time does it take for you to make the comic strip usually?
Each comic strip is probably altogether. That's a really good question. Probably 40 minutes to an hour.
40 minutes to an hour. And how many? I don't know what the term is, but kind of like windows do you usually use on it? Do you have like a certain number that you usually use,
Right,
or like does it like vary?
I do them in batches. So I'll do a batch of anywhere from 4, 6, 8. Sometimes I'll do 10 if I feel like really motivated, if I want to get it out there. In the process, there are actually there's three processes inside of the batch that I do, and it's the sketching process, the inking process, and then the shading process. So it's 3 altogether. In fact, one of these is kind of halfway done. In fact, I will pull it out if I can find it. There we go. So these are 2.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, like when the video's out, we'll actually like take snapshots of this and put this up like for a sec so people can see it.
Awesome, that would be great.
Forward by just
like these
do
exact ones.
Do you have these scanned
These right now, this one no, this one yes.
Oh, okay.
So
And
this one I recently did for
And
a
you usually scan them when you go before you put them on the website, or do you just do pictures?
I scan them.
Oh,
I
okay.
scan every single one of them.
Dude, this feels like nice. Dude.
Yeah,
It's
that's bristle board. So I use 9x12 vellum, and I actually have to cut a little bit off the top so it would actually fit in the scanner.
like this.
Yes.
You
If you see the little
Oh, but you just label it to know what where.
right.
Yeah.
So six in the top left corner means how many panels it needs. That's usually the name of the comic strip. So for in this case, it's called Gone. That's the number right up there.
Okay.
So
yeah, dude, man, this is really cool because I don't think I know any like official or like people who are like super serious about like making comics and art that way, dude. I mean, I know plenty of artists, but not people who are like focused.
Yeah,
on,
not
like,
people who actually
cartoonists and like
basically.
comic books. You know? That's really cool.
it's an interesting field, I must say.
Yeah.
It's a great world to be in. I've got to know some fellow cartoonists, just like connecting with them.
In Durham or like?
No, like Instagram, Facebook, mainly Instagram. That's usually where I post a lot of my stuff regularly.
Do you actually mind us sending some that are scanned so we can put it on the video?
Certainly.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Do you do color or do you do just pencil?
So far, I have actually done all of these in black and white.
Oh, black and white.
And I have had like 2 or 3 of my subscribers say, you need to start doing some of these in color, and frankly, I agree with them.
Pretty cool. Maybe like a special edition or something.
What I'm
like
thinking about,
pretty cool, dude.
What I'm really thinking about is taking some of the favorites that my subscribers like and just doing a digital, digital
cool.
colorization of them. So that way I have the original in black and white, but I mean I have a digital copy of what they look like. In fact, there was a cartoonist who actually took one of my comic strips and actually colored it for me. He says, this is what it would look like.
Yeah.
So, I was all right with that because, I mean, we're pretty good pals.
Okay, awesome, bro.
That's cool, man.
And you said you're from Durham, right? What school did you end up going to?
I was actually homeschooled my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think
You
that...
go to Durham Tech? No, not or
right now I'm going to
classes.
Durham Tech, getting my architecture associates.
Oh, wow.
So.
You gotta have some.
You gotta have backup.
You gotta have backup. I mean,
Yeah.
being an artist ain't too consistent.
Yeah.
Just like us, dude. Hey, no worries.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah, same boat.
We're
There you
doing
go.
our best to work it up there, though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course. Do you think being homeschooled skewed you to being a cartoonist, or do you think it had any influence? 'Cause since you had more time than the usual, well, I don't know if you had more time than the usual student to do what you wanted to do.
I think in some ways, yes, it was an advantage that I had more time. First of all, I didn't have to ride the bus there and back.
Oh yeah,
dude.
we all went through that, and we hated that, man.
However, my mom would drive me to swim practice for the afternoon, or at least until I was able to actually start driving myself. But I mean, I started working at 16 years old, and so I would usually take the morning shift, work till 10, come home, do my schoolwork. Sometimes I'd finish up at 2, sometimes I'd finish up at 4 o'clock. So I mean, I think the fact that it was only me and the household at that point that was in school, it was easier that way. Supervisors liked it because they really didn't have anybody that would open the pool at that hour or come in.
Oh wait, so how long have you been working at the pool?
So since I was 16.
Wow.
Oh, so yeah.
So started 2012, and they realized immediately, oh, he can actually get up and work mornings. So they were like, okay. Every single morning, I pretty much was there, along with another lifeguard.
I can't do that, man. I've done those morning shifts, man. They're brutal.
They can be pretty brutal.
What time do you have to wake up or be there?
So, the pool, I was supposed to be over there at 5:45 in the morning. So the pool opens at 6. Fortunately, it's only a 10-minute drive from me, so I usually got up at 5 or 5:10.
That's still early, dude. Man.
Yeah, dude. I have to be at work by 6 or 7 sometimes, but yo, you're a good one, man. You're a good one. Yo, that is crazy.
I think the earliest I've ever gotten up was like for a shift was 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, really?
10 o'clock was probably.
That's nice.
I
That's
did
nice.
the 10 o'clock shift.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, that is.
other than that,
Um,
who would you say like, as you were growing up and you had these like ideas of like cartooning and putting sticky notes together, like who were your bigger like cartoon or I guess comic books that you read a lot? Because you mentioned earlier Calvin and
Definitely
Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too.
I picked that up at like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah,
and I
man,
couldn't
they were-
put it down.
Yeah, they were my favorite too.
Collected the whole collection. Everything from 85
Like
to
the ones in
96.
color?
Yep.
Oh man.
I even have the book with the Sunday strips.
Dude, I remember I went over to, so when I was younger, I actually used to be like babysitted? This is the word,
there you go,
babysat?
Yeah,
Babysat, there you go.
yeah.
But I saw a lady and her son had one of those big like jumbo books that were in color.
Revenge of the Babysat? No.
I think that one was it. The one where he's like huge on the cover.
Yeah.
That
Walking
one.
down the stairs.
Yeah, he had that one, and then I was like just flipping through it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so jealous right now because I've always wanted this one in color because I always had the ones that were in like black and white. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Who else?
Let's see. So Calvin and Hobbes, Zitz, especially. Jerry Scott, Jim Borgman does that comic strip. They started it, I think, in like '97, and they're still making it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, they have a full repertoire. It's about a teenager, and I mean, likewise about teenagers. So I guess you can kind of see how some of that worked out together.
Yeah.
The inspiration, I mean, just to kind of go off on a tangent here, I have another comic strip that I do on the side called Ian the Terrible.
We were gonna talk about that.
And that one is kind of loosely based on Calvin and Hobbes because I fell so in love with Calvin, and I was like, man, this kid is awesome. Why couldn't I be that smart as a 6-year-old?
Dude, the stuff we were talking about in that book, in the comics, is kind of impressive, honestly.
Yeah,
Did you ever read them when you were little?
Yeah, his philosophy.
Man.
Like, he goes on a philosophy tangent, especially when
He's
they
like
take the wagon rides.
5 or 8 years old or something.
Yeah, he's like 6.
And
I
he
think is what
he always talks about like philosophical and like adult stuff. And
Yeah.
it was
And then he's getting F's in class, and you're like, no way.
Yo.
But yeah, I have to say, Zitz, Calvin and Hobbes, Dilbert. Trying to think of some.
I'm
of the
sure you've
others.
read Garfield.
Yes, Garfield is pretty funny. It's not my absolute favorite, but yes, there are some
it's
really
like
funny
I
comics.
guess like I want to say mainstream, but it was like the most popular one
Mhm.
for sure.
And then of course there are like cute cartoons like Red and Rover, Mutts.
I've heard of those. I don't think I've read them.
Yo, I feel so isolated now because
You didn't have a childhood.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I like
You just didn't like
reading
reading.
more. For some reason, I read a lot of comic strips, but not here in the U.S. It's like more in Honduras. Like those were like I remember reading those, but then when I got here, it was like I mean I looked over the superhero comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Maybe.
But like cartoonists like y'all, not at all.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into like the superhero like Marvel, DC?
No, I
comic
did
books?
not.
No?
Really?
Really?
No. That's surprising.
You prefer the
It's-
cartoon or cartoon
Well,
ones?
yeah, there's like there's several genres. I mean, that's the same thing I go back to with Tapastic. I think you have multiple people that do superhero comics. You have multiple people who do comic strips about like samurai history. Like they kind of like mix that heritage in with a comic strip, and some of it is like really beautiful because you have like you have that oriental feel with like the lettering coming down the page, and so you scroll down and you see all this design work. It's really cool. But then you have people like me that just do like basic 3 or 4 panel gags, and the comic they're drawn kind of like actual people because they have like very realistic facial expressions.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many different genres.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the amazing part.
And you never tried going back and like rereading or reading a superhero book and be like,
No.
maybe I was wrong about him, flip through it. You know?
I always found, well, I don't know. This was just me. I was just like, man, this is so dark. I want to laugh.
Oh, okay.
Some people.
They're really graphic.
Yeah, some people enjoy that. I definitely liked how much detail was in each one.
That's what I liked about them, and they were really colorful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very colorful.
Growing up and making cartoon strips, did you save all of them, or did you ever just make one and then you were like, oh, I don't like this one, just threw it away?
Like the early age ones?
Yeah, the early age ones, or have you ever discarded any?
You know, I'm not really sure. They're probably up in the attic somewhere. Mixed in with all the rest of the 8.5 by 11 sheets I used. That's normally what I work in, besides this, which is 9 by 12 crystal board. So.
Did you when you started making comic strips, did you start on like white paper, or like, the school paper, the lined paper, college rule?
So, quick backstory, my dad worked for the EPA, and so he was a reg writer, and so he would, regulations.
Oh.
So, but he would come in, I mean, a whole bunch of paperwork. So they had this, I don't even know why they called it. It stood for something. He would bring these big boxes home, and they called it wow paper. And it's pretty much all of these, it's like technical, like sections, like how to regulate something, how much of this and that. I mean, you could read it on the back, but it was like stuff that they didn't use. It was just like rough drafts. So they typed it up on the computers and printed them out, but I mean, a lot of it got ditched. So he just took the paper home, and I would draw on it.
So you had like an endless supply.
Yeah,
Basically.
until he retired.
Oh.
So I mean, when he retired, I was like, now I gotta go out and buy my own paper.
Dang.
That stuff's pretty expensive, ain't it?
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I know it ain't cheap.
No, it's not cheap, but I mean the cheap copier paper is about as cheap as you can get.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I do. Like, I mean, it's not archival paper, but I mean, it's decent paper.
Yeah, it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Now, along with your comics and stuff, Shoot Say Garters and I've been terrible. Other than making comics, I've seen like through your Instagram profile as well that you also have like drawings of like other stuff like cars and like I don't know if you like redid a painting from a famous painter or something. It was almost like a house. It was like inverted or something like
yes.
that. Like
in fact,
a 3D one.
I
So
even
like
brought that too.
you do a lot of that stuff too. And like,
Yeah.
Where did that like interest come from? Other than because you said you've always been interested in comics, but like when did you start branching out to this and get interested in that too?
I think I can't even remember which year it was, but my parents took me to see. It was Monet's paintings, and they had them at the North Carolina Art Gallery, I believe, like the North Carolina Art Museum. I think that's correct. I can't even remember which museum it was now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right, because let's see, you drive down. I know everything visually, but I'm terrible with road names. I even had trouble finding this place. just to let you know.
Yeah, it was a great struggle, but hey, at least it's here now, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry.
But when they took me over to see those paintings, I was like, oh yeah, I could kind of get into painting or kind of get into landscaping, because he was a really good landscaper. My grandmother actually painted watercolors with oils. She did acrylic. She did all kinds of painting, and then I picked. Sorry.
Oh, I said I like watercolor. I like how it looks.
Oh yeah.
On canvases and stuff. It looks really cool.
I did a little bit. Yeah, I liked it, but I was just never good at it. I was never good at painting, but I did like watercolor, and I really liked charcoal.
Charcoal.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the grainy feeling.
Fun. Yes.
I don't like the grainy feeling against the paper. It gave me
Yeah.
goosebumps. I don't know
It's a
why.
soothing
Yeah, I'm
feeling.
taking the white pencil and like streaking and like smearing it all over
Oh,
and
yeah.
getting all these different textures. I mean, that's the cool part.
Yeah, that is very cool. Have you what? Sorry, I interrupted.
You're
you.
good.
Have you ever done a comic strip with other than in color and any type of other form like charcoal or watercolor?
No, actually, all of my comic strips are either done with like a micron pen,
Okay.
or they're done with India ink, which is you use a quill pen, and yeah, so you dip it in the reservoir, and it brings out a really fine line. So all the text that I write out in the panels, I do those with a micron pen. But
Oh, we both like.
Yeah.
But for instance, I'm just gonna show you what one looks like.
Yeah, dude, them lines are straight.
Yeah.
So okay, this right here.
Wow. This is
Okay.
all your art?
This
Wow.
right here,
I
this
really-
is done with
nice.
India ink. So
Wow.
all of this completely is done with India
Do
ink.
you have
Hope
this
you don't
scan?
mind those.
Yes, I do have this.
Do you
one.
mind this? Do you mind sending us this one in
Sure.
specific? This is
I'll show
awesome.
you that one.
Wow.
This
I'll
right
put it
here
in
is
like a corner or like just put it full screen or something.
Yeah.
this is brush pen, Faber-Castell. So I usually work with Faber-Castells, micron pens, just the standard micron pens,
Wow.
India ink, and the more water you add to it, the lighter the shade you'll get. So it's water based. But because
You said the more water you add, the lighter it gets?
yeah, the lighter shade you will get. I can hold it up to the camera.
Yeah. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah.
There's just kind of
I mean, we'll put
shows
it.
you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then we'll know which one to put where in the video.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's
So
showing
also,
you what the India
for
ink
those
is.
of you who are listening, if you want to see what we're talking about, you're
Yeah,
gonna have to watch the video.
Yeah, just go on YouTube. Hey, man, it's the same thing except you get to see our ugly
Yeah.
faces. Well, our ugly faces.
Our ugly
Yeah.
faces.
Three ugly faces. Hey, don't forget mine.
Man. Actually, do you mind showing
you have
us
the-
a hobby?
Did you have the house? I'm sorry. I didn't-
You're good.
Oh yeah,
Or if you had it,
yeah, that one. And
because I really like
that
one that
again,
you did.
that would again further
Wow.
kind of like my
That's awesome.
perspective drawing, because
He draws a lot of
I
colors.
picked up.
Wow.
I picked up the perspective
Yeah, dude, you're really good.
from my dad, and so I got that perspective gene from him. But when I saw, where is it? It's so hard to find these things. Don't get too big.
There it is.
Purple.
Wow.
There we
Wow.
go. So,
Yeah, dude.
Shoot.
so that's based off
crazy.
of MC Escher's Up and Down, and I had to split it into two 9x12s. This one would originally go on top. No, sorry,
Mm.
that one goes on top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's the same shot. It's just from a different angle. There's the girl in the window. There's the girl in the window there, and he's sitting on the stairs.
This is
If you send
amazing.
those to me, I could like orient it properly so that way like people can see what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. I even
Sorry.
I took the you're good. I took the picture, and when I scanned them, I cropped it so it would be larger, and I actually pasted them together, so I can even send you the full one.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, too.
So, you do have comic strips in color. Wow, awesome.
That was what I did. I did that for a lawyer,
Oh, okay.
and so
Hector, we were talking the other day, and he told me that your work has been published in a couple. Was it a magazine? Am I right? Yeah, magazine.
Something.
it was Lifeguard Times did. They published my work. I believe it was 2016 or 2017. They took some of my comic strips and put them on the web page. I think they just wanted to do it to give the lifeguards that were enrolling just like a chance to I don't know, kind of see like what lifeguarding was like, because I mean there are some things that I've document in the comic strips that are loosely based on real life situations. Of course, they're all funny, but
Yeah.
And you told us earlier that you were getting your degree in architecture. I'm guessing that this kind of was kind of like a bounced off of that as well.
Right. Let's see. I graduated from high school and I did not really know what I wanted to do next. I was a lifeguard, and I even started coaching. I started coaching like years later, and I was already doing swim lessons. So I was trying to figure out, okay, I like aquatics, but do I want to be here the rest of my life? And I think that's one of the reasons why I started the comic strip, because it's just kind of like a good way to like tie in a good memory.
Of course.
Because I've worked there for now 6 years. So it took me like 3 years to decide, okay, I want to go to college and get a degree, or just like get my feet wet and figure out exactly what I want to do. But it took me like 3 years to get there and decide. I originally went to get like an undercar certificate. So I actually went in thinking I would do an automotive program. The guy who taught over there, fortunately he knew me, and he said, this guy shouldn't be working under cars. He likes drawing. So he said, why don't you get into architecture? So in many ways, he's kind of like, yeah, he's been my guide throughout college. And so he pointed me in the right direction, because I didn't even think about architecture. I mean, I think it's just kind of amazing. I mean, it's kind of like a comic strip. Like, who would have thunk? Auto mechanics teacher tells the guy, get out of this profession and take architecture. So I thought I was like, wow, that's really moving. So
You're like in your own head after you said that, you're like giggling.
yeah, I was just like, how do I document this in a comic strip? Because I mean, literally, there are a lot of things that happen in college that are so hilarious.
Yeah,
And that's why I really like it too, because it's super authentic what you're doing too, because you're basing it off of your own experience. Like, it's not just something you're making up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Even though Ivan the Terrible is kind of, but that's inspired by another comic.
Ivan the Terrible is half Calhoun, it's half me, it's half, I don't know. It's just he's technically an 8-year-old kid, and he's terrible. So,
of course. Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. And yeah, that's what I was like thinking a second. I was like, that's a big correlation, architecture and drawing. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Are you graduating soon?
yes, so I will actually graduate fall of next year, so it'll be fall 2019. All of my architectural classes will be finished in spring, but I kind of like wanted to take my time so I could kind of like work through college, because I took like close to 14 credit hours like one semester, and I didn't quite get the grades I wanted. So I was like, okay, so if I do X number, I can get good grades and work through. That way I can pay it off pretty well. Because I mean,
of course,
it's not too expensive to get it during tech. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable. Of course, yes, sir. That's awesome, dude. But yeah, I mean, your work is awesome.
Yeah, like
thank you.
Like we've seen.
Yeah.
If you haven't, like you're gonna see when. Well, I guess you could. Did he put in the plug yet?
Instagram.
So you people can see where this guy's work is.
So Instagram, it's at Ian Johnson Cartoonist. My name is spelled I-A-N. Some people don't quite get that, but hey, that's fine. So at Ian Johnson Cartoonist. Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a like. It does. I mean, just comment if you want to. Just
go show love to this guy's work, man.
Show up and just say something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but to start wrapping it up a little bit, usually what we do is that we ask the pioneer, the guest,
Okay.
which is you, to leave something for the pioneers, the audience. You know, a question, comment, idea, anything. You know, what would you like to leave for the pioneers today?
Ooh, that's a really
Yeah, and then they'll leave that answer to whatever you ask in your
In your
Instagram
social,
or whatever.
yeah.
So it
Okay.
can be anything. It could be about your art. It could be about life or whatever.
Maybe something funny.
okay. So in terms of, I'm trying to
Oh,
grasp
anything,
exactly.
anything. That's the thing.
Anything.
Yeah.
Um,
It can be funny. It can be
So
serious.
you're basically just asking our audience.
Yeah, yeah.
okay. What do I want to ask the audience?
Let's see. What will it be today?
Yeah, this is a dead space in the moment. We're like, oh, what am I gonna do next?
It's all good, man. You said you've been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah,
so
dude.
I can understand.
Yeah. Shoot.
I guess maybe the best way to go about this is good question. I'm trying to think of a good question off the top of my head. Just can't think of something right now.
I was gonna. Well, it's kind of like my question, but hopefully we'll be able to upload the images to the video. If you don't mind sending us the scanned cartoons and images. But which what would I call cartoon or piece of art, or just piece of art in general, was your favorite from today's video created by Ian? Which one was your favorite? Yeah, there you go. That was my question. you
Okay.
know.
I
Yeah.
think now I can kind of get a better grasp. I think the question I would ask is, like, does the character development in this comic strip, does it fit your everyday, like, normal life? Is it something that you can relate to? Because, I mean, it's one of these things where you can't, it's hard to create a product and try and find people who want your product. You got it. It's better to actually know your audience first and find out what they want. Because I mean, it may be that this is just like the precursor to something that may be completely different, something that the audience enjoys more, a related topic that they might want to explore, have somebody do. So just like feedback on, do these comic strips relate to you? Is it something that you look at and say, wow, I can relate to that. That happened to me yesterday. Or boy, I feel you on that one. That really hits home for me. So, does it make you laugh? Does it make you cry? I don't think it's gonna make you cry. Because I mean, it's just, it's all humor.
I hope not.
So you guys heard it. What emotion do his comics? I cannot talk. What emotion does his comics make you have? Yeah. It's a good question.
And character development.
And character development.
But yeah, man.
Thank you again, once again, for coming out and being on the podcast.
I had fun.
Yeah, we thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Thank you
All
so
right
much,
then.
man.
Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Hector.
Yeah, man. Like we said earlier, you guys go give Ian a follow over at, what was it, Ian the Cartoonist?
Ian Johnson Cartoon.
Ian Johnson
Ian
Cartoonist.
Johnson.
Go show love to his art, you guys. Really, really appreciate if you guys go and show love to his art, because he's really talented and he's doing something that he loves, and the art that he makes is really, really beautiful and phenomenal. I think, at least, and so does he.
Yeah, of course.
But you guys go show love to him. We'd really appreciate it. Leave that answer to the question in his DM for us. We'd really appreciate that too as well. What was the question again? It was
What emotion does his artwork make you have? Or make you,
And even if that's too hard, I mean, the one thing you can do is find which character relates to you. I mean, I've had lap swimmers, people walk up to me and say, is this person based off of this person, or is this person based off of me?
Man,
So,
That's funny.
So
man.
you can find a character that you say, oh wow, that's just like me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And also let us know which picture or which design or whatever you guys liked from this video as well. And for y'all listening, y'all gonna have to watch the video like we said before. So
Yeah, of course.
sucks for that, but
Yeah. But hey.
but really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen or watch this podcast episode. Stay tuned again for next week's podcast episode. Thank you once again. My name is Hector.
My name is Luis, and today's
Ian Johnson.
Ian Johnson, our new pioneer. Thank you
and
so
we're
guys.
and we let's you know what? Let's do the
We gotta work on this.
yeah, let's do it again. Cut this part out or like zoom by it like really fast. Yeah, there you go. So yeah.
No, I'm gonna use that.
Yo.
Yeah, use that.
All right,
That's
all
my
right.
falsetto
All
voice.
right, all right. Go ahead. Start it, man. Go ahead.
My name is Hector.
My name is Louise,
I'm Ian Johnson.
and we are the Blue City Pioneers.
See you on the next one.
We out.